Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covers, three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now, Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Number 4, Armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another B Plus podcast. Today is, I don't know. I'm recording this on Monday, but you could be listening to it any day. So really me doing the whole day thing at the beginning of the podcast doesn't make too much sense. But the fact that I don't know what day this is coming out, you know what that means. This is another bonus podcast. Today we are breaking down Riot City Wrestling 200 shows. Damn, that's a lot of shows. And I actually didn't get to make it to the show this time around. So unfortunately, I ended up elsewhere for the night. And I've got Wolf Dog with me, though, because Wolf Dog was there. Wolf Dog was working, doing his job. He showed up, and he's going to fill us in on everything that went down throughout the night. Wolf Dog, how are you?
I'm doing well. You know what? I should have started with that go. No, I wasn't there either. I don't even know why I'm here. But, I thought that would have just thrown you for a bit of a loop. But no, I'm doing well.
I would have crapped my pants.
I didn't turn up for work. I was just not there at all. No, I am doing really well. Fantastic weekend all up. Had a great Father's Day. Had a great weekend with wrestling. It's been fantastic. So,
right, because Father's Day. Okay, well, let's touch on the elephant in the room. All In. Did you watch All In on Father's Day?
I did watch it at the end. You know what? I managed to avoid all spoilers because I had some wonderful time in the morning with my kids, and then we went to my in-laws' place to spend time with family, as you do on Father's Day.
Yeah.
And I managed to avoid all spoilers before I actually got to see it. So I didn't see it live.
Well done.
But I saw the replay, and and it was basically like seeing it live because I had no clue about anything. So
yeah. Well, I did it in reverse. I watched it live in the morning. My kids watched part of the show with me. My daughter is a huge Marty Skrull fan, so she watched part of the show, and then they sort of went and played and did their things and got some presents and stuff ready, and then we did things together in the afternoon. So I did it reversed. But yeah, it was a really good weekend, really good wrestling weekend.
Really was. And as much as I loved All In, I loved RCW 200 more. I hear incredible things. It's probably a little bit biased on my part, but I very much did like the All In show. It was definitely a good thing to have watched, but I was so happy to be part of RCW 200. And I've heard a lot of people raving about it, and it was a really fantastic night. So let's start talking about it because I'm still pumped from it. I'm still buzzing from it now.
That's amazing. So I hear that the show opened with Jet Armstrong and Steve Miller. They seemed like they were a little miffed that they weren't booked, they weren't announced, and they came out and issued a challenge.
Well, they did. Jet Armstrong both of them, Jet Armstrong and Steve Miller, they think they're extremely talented, and they are extremely talented. They were a little bit, shall we say, annoyed that they weren't, booked on the show, so to speak. So that they decided to book themselves and put out the open challenge, which was then answered, of course, by Tuffy Calhoun and Katie Trey, who I just have to try and keep away from so it doesn't bite my fingers.
Chomping Katie Trey.
He is. I'm serious. I keep moving behind Sean Fuster and just because I swear he's just going to try and bite my fingers.
You don't want to get too close.
No, I don't. I need my fingers. I have to. I don't know what I have to do at my age, but I'm sure I need my fingers for something. But Katie Trey, I tell you what, and Tuffy Calhoun never teamed before that I'm aware of. Same with Jet Armstrong and Steve Miller. Both of these teams work really, really well together. I was very impressed with this match. Yeah, I thought it was a very nice opener. And, of course...
Katie Trey and Tuffy Calhoun, they're a team that makes sense to me.
Well, Tuffy Calhoun, I don't even know if he knows he's in the ring sometimes. It's a Saturday night. I think he comes straight from the pub. And he just fights. He likes a good old fight. And you know, he can always find one in RCW. But him and Katie Trey worked very well. But so did Steve Miller and Jen Armstrong, who ended up, of course, winning the match.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if this was just a one-time team up for either one of these teams, but you know, with that RCW tag team title around the place now, who knows? We might see these guys together at a later date, but both teams work really well. So
I'll never say no to new tag teams, Foreman, because I'm a big tag team wrestling guy. I love a good tag team match.
We have something in common. Then I was always and still am a huge tag team fan. Was back in the day, I still am now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get to the tag team that blew the roof off the place a little bit, but we'll get there. First, let's have a look at the women's championship match. Indy Hartwell, Izzy Shaw, Miss Fortune, Blair Alexis, and Savannah Summers. How did that one go down?
My God, it was awesome. Seriously, I didn't know what to expect out of this when you have 5 incredible athletes in the ring in this sort of a match. You know, you never know. This was just fantastic. It was fast-paced. I was very surprised with the result. No offense to Miss Hartwell, but she was extremely impressive. There was no championship advantage in this match for her, and she had 4 fantastic contenders to contend with, and she still managed to walk out of there the RCW Women's Champion. But I think all of the women in this match did themselves proud, and they did women's wrestling proud, because I thought it was a fantastic match, all up from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about it in the build-up. We talked about it on our preview show, which people can go back and listen to. I will drop it in the show notes. We talked about it. There's no championship advantage in a 5-way situation. In fact, the odds are stacked heavily against you. And to see Indy come out, she's living up to her name here in Riot City Wrestling as impressive.
Absolutely. But I got to say, all the women in this match were extremely impressive. Miss Fortune, for example, was coming back off a 2-year layoff after the injury. She was flying around doing moonsaults. Savannah Summers was throwing herself off the top turnbuckle. You know, Blair Alexis was kicking rear ends all over the place. All of these women were just amazing, and they put together a really good match. But unfortunately for the rest of them, Indy Hartwell did end up getting the 1, 2, 3. So, you know, nothing to be ashamed of with any of them, because I thought it was a fantastic performance. But Miss Hartwell is still our champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we also had a match announced after we spoke. When we spoke for our preview show, we only had the 5 matches. So, of course, some more matches came out. Tony Toro was supposed to be taking on Davey Green. Now, from what I see on the results that were sent to me, Tony Toro actually ended up having a match with Jensen Hunt, who is only new in Riot City, to the Riot City residents. He's somewhat of a newcomer. What happened there?
I'll be honest, I do not know. Now, I heard some people saying David Green was running scared of Tony Toro. I don't think for a minute that is true. I'm pretty sure there was some sort of chicanery happening that David Green didn't make it to the match. I honestly don't know. I'm sure later down the track we will find out. But it left a big opening, obviously, in RCW 200, and it was answered by, as you mentioned, he's a rookie. This was only his 2nd match. Impressive match. Indeed, I was at the RCW live show when he debuted against Nick Armstrong. Fantastic match. Probably one of the best debuts I've seen in years. I think he really, if you didn't know who this young man was before the match started, I think you definitely did at the end of it. Tony Toro, unfortunately, had a nice handful of tights to grab the win there. But I think Jensen Hunt definitely made a name for himself with the residents of Riot City. As to Davey Green and what happened, I can only speculate, and I'm not really willing to, because I don't actually know what's happening there. So,
right. So we'll stay posted. We'll keep an eye out to see if anything breaks in regards to what may have happened with Davey Green, why he wasn't able to make it to the match. But Jensen Hunt, impressive debut against Nick Armstrong, and then following it up with an impressive match here against Tony Toro. Safe to say that had Toro not grabbed the tights, we may have been looking at a different outcome.
You never know, but the fact that he had to use the tights to do it, that probably does say something. But I think Jensen Hunt is going to be someone to look forward to seeing for many years to come. I may not personally like him when you hear me on the microphone. He's, he likes the finer things in life. He seems to like Sean Fuster. So, of course, I don't like him by default. But, that might change. He might realize
did Sean listen to the podcast? Does he realize that punching you back is an option?
I didn't ask him. I wasn't going to bring that up. Thank you very much.
Fuster, if you're listening, punching back is always an option. It's how you earn respect. All right.
I'm never
Speaking of punching back. Speaking of punching back, Adam Brooks is back punching in Riot City Wrestling. I don't know if that's going to play well, but that's what I'm doing. We're going with it. Adam Brooks is back. Big return match against Rocky Monero, the Icon.
Okay, I'm going to... That's all right. I was waiting for you to... I wanted to throw this out there. One of the best matches I've ever seen, and one of the best matches I've ever had the privilege of calling as an announcer. I got to say it right there. These two guys, it was fantastic. It is Australian wrestling that is part of what I am so proud to be involved in Australian wrestling still. It was a fantastic match by both of them. It really was.
Definitely. I've seen a few little highlights and things that were posted to Instagram, that running the moonsault over the ropes to the outside by Brooksy. A few other just little highlights that I've seen going around on Instagram and Facebook. It looks like it was an intense match, and everyone coming out of the show, from what I saw of the chatter from people I spoke to, everyone was talking about this match and the main event as just being two of the best matches they'd ever seen live. Not to take anything away from the rest of the competitors, but this match was sort of a next step above.
It was absolutely phenomenal, and they put on a wrestling clinic. And I have no doubt somewhere down the track it will be on Riot City Wrestling's official YouTube channel. And when it does drop, everybody go and have a look. It is just fantastic. It's one of those matches I'm sure they're both very, very proud of. Brooksy ended up getting the win, and that's there had to be a win in there somewhere. I'm glad we actually did get a winner, and it wasn't sort of some sort of a count out or disqualification. These two guys just gave it their all, and I can't rave about this match enough. It was just that good. Right.
The finish actually came courtesy of a distraction, I'm told.
Yeah,
the difference made the difference.
The difference did make the difference. That was probably if I had to say, was there anything bad about the match? Probably the fact that Tyler Daniels, who I'm, usually a fan of, sort of had to interject himself into this. Of course, originally he wanted to answer the open challenge that Rocky Monero has been throwing out. But, Brooksy sort of gone in first. I don't think he was very happy with it. So, he tried to interject himself into this match. Try to make it about him. This is kind of a Tyler Daniels thing. He likes it to be about him. And I think he was annoyed that it wasn't. So, that didn't sort of...
Well, he was annoyed back at Power Trip. And he implied that he was going to, try to pull some strings and get himself inserted into the match.
Well, he definitely got himself inserted into it. But, it's wrestling. These things do happen. So I have no doubt that there will be some consequences for Mr. Daniels down the track. I'm pretty sure Rocky Monero will not be a very happy man. So who knows? Yeah. Who knows where that may lead in the following shows to come?
Yeah. Now, in terms of repercussions, this next match has some of the biggest repercussions, and now I don't know who's around to dole out repercussions as a result. Hammer managed to pull out the victory over Kurt Barron.
I am disgusted, honestly. It was a travesty. The referee, Brad Smythe, it was disgusting. No, truly. It really was. I'm still upset about this. Jimmy C, personal friend of mine, great general manager, even if I'm the only one that believe that. And now he's no longer a general manager. So it was, in all joking aside, and most of that wasn't. It was a great match between the two big guys. They gave it their all. They really did. There are a lot of how can we say this? A lot of strange things happened in this match, of course, because we did have Brad Smythe, who at the start of the night did still seem to be on Jimmy C's side, but right at the end of the match, he decided to do an about face, super kick Jimmy C on his rear end, very much caused the whole downfall of Jimmy C. pretty much single-handedly. So
yeah, so a super kick to Jimmy C, a super kick to Kurt Barron, and it's over.
Yeah, pretty much. And I personally don't think it should have happened like that, but, I didn't think it should have happened at all because Jimmy C, I personally think was a great general manager. And if you have any problems with that, people, you can find me on the internet somewhere and tell me about it.
Well, look, we spoke about this on the preview show, and you threatened to get me beaten up because I agreed with you. So, of course, people are going to have problems when even people who agree with you're threatening to expose them to the Riot City residents to get beaten up. What do you expect to happen here, Wolfdog?
I'm right. That's the end of the subject. It doesn't matter. Even if I contradict myself, I'm still right. It's fine.
Of course, because you acknowledged that you could be wrong, so you're right.
Exactly, that's it. See, you've worked it out.
Yeah.
All right. Wolfdog logic.
Yeah, no, I know the loophole. I use that loophole all the time. I could be wrong about this, but I'm right, because I could be wrong. So I'm right.
You see what Sean Fustats have put up with? You have sympathy for him now, don't you?
Yes, I've always had sympathy for him.
Hey,
look, I love talking to you here, Wolfdog. Let's carry on. Let's get on with it. So Jimmy C's no longer general manager. Any rumblings on what's happening? I mean, we're without a leader.
Well, we're not without a leader. The RCW is owned by Joe Greco. It has been from day one. So there is somebody that's still doing the administration work, and he puts, of course, the general manager in place to do the matchmaking and all the sort of stuff that he's very much the administration side of it. All crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure all the bills are paid and that sort of stuff. Not the actual in-ring stuff, and that's where the general manager is. But right now, we don't have one, and you're right. So I don't know if they're going to be naming a new one or if Joe Greco is going to be taking a more hands-on approach to running the company. That is what we're going to find out at the next couple of shows, obviously. Can't really comment on that because I actually don't know. I am, though, happily available if Joe Greco has happened to be listening to this. I will happily step up as general manager. I will happily make Jimmy C my assistant general manager, and will happily continue to run RCW any way he likes.
That would be interesting. Would be interesting.
I can't see that ever happening. But, obviously we will need some sort of a
positive mental attitude, my friend. Dress for the job you want. All that stuff.
I am a former president. When we first started the company, I was the president of the company. So, which basically was the general manager job. So I've been there, I've done that. I don't really want it back again. I'm quite happy to annoy Sean Fuster.
Yeah, well, heavy is the head, as they say. That's definitely something to keep an eye on, though, for at the next RCW Live, at the next couple of shows. We should hopefully expect to see some developments there, or we may just get chaos,
or possibly social media. There may be an official announcement before then. Again, I don't know. I'm still obviously unhappy with the result. I'm trying to call Jimmy C to sort of console him. He hasn't answered any of my calls, so he's pretty upset. So, I don't know where we go from here. And I don't know where Jimmy C goes from here, but, we will see as we go.
Then we have the match for the Chicks Managerial Services. This was a three-way match. Chris Basso, Nick Armstrong, Zach Sabbath. How did this one come out in the end?
Well, I know it came out in the end, but to start with, it almost looked like it was a handicap match because Zach Sabbath and Nick Armstrong pretty much teamed up against Chris Basso. And it really looked like it was kind of going to go that way until, of course, the pinfall started to happen. And then the two of them couldn't work together because obviously they both wanted to win the Chicks managerial contracts. But unfortunately for them, even though a great effort by both guys, Chris Basso, being that cornerstone of RCW, he has been since RCW 1, ended up winning the match and winning the Chicks managerial contract. Now, of course, after the match, for those that weren't there, he asked the question. Apparently nobody had asked her before, what was her name? And I honestly thought it was just the Chick. I thought her parents just didn't like her and they called her the Chick. But no, apparently her name is Selena. So she now has an official name.
Yeah, I assumed it was like boy, Oh, we've had a son. Let's call him Boy. Oh, we've had a daughter. Let's call her the Chick.
Yeah. I thought that's
but no, she has a name.
Apparently, she does have a name, and her name is Selena. So, and then Chris Basso handed her the managerial contract of hers, and he said you can do with it what she likes, and she ripped it up. So she is now a free agent to now do whatever she would like to do with her life, and I guess her in-ring career. I don't know if she's going to continue on as Chris Basso's valet or or manager type thing, or if she's going to just go her own way. But she can do either now, so I guess that's her.
Right. Because it's 2018.
Well, women can walk their own path, and I guess this just showed that's exactly it. But of course, the big revelation outside of a fantastic match that we had was after all of this, Brooksy returned to the ring. Very respectful, congratulated Chris Basso, and had pointed out that those two had fought numerous times before, but they never fought for the RCW championship, and on the spot challenged him for the Riot City Rumble, a shot at the RCW title. Chris Basso, being the man that he is, accepted, and that is the first, outside of the Riot City Rumble itself, the first big match announcement for the next big show is going to be Adam Brooks versus Chris Basso for the RCW championship. So that is mega huge.
That is a match that could headline any show in the country and honestly could stack up against any show in the world as a headline match. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Anyone in Adelaide who's on the fence, should I check out Riot City? Yes, you should. And you should do it on October 13th at the Latvian Hall for the Riot City Rumble, because that match is going to be incredible.
There you go. Everything he just said, I'm done here. That's great. It's
I'm coming for your job, Wolfie. That's what this is really about. That's
I've seen. Yeah, no. You're going to have to pry this out of my dead hands now. I can tell you that now. There's no more retirements. I am back for life, and good luck trying. But you can come. You can come.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I love the passion. Now, I want to hear the passion on this one. The main event. First time ever. Tables, ladders, chairs. We had the Millennials defending their titles against Gods and Monsters. That's Brody Marshall and Grimm. Against the Rude Ones, Bulldog McKenzie and Marvel. And, of course, La Pareja. Sorry, I shouldn't, the Pareja. Eli Theseus and Gabriel Eros. And I hear that it blew the roof off the place.
It was carnage. You know, you mentioned that you interviewed Grimm and he said there would be bodies everywhere. There was bodies everywhere. There was multiple tables broken, people flying off ladders. It was just amazing. All of these competitors in this match, huge kudos and huge respect to all of them. They literally put their bodies on the line for this match. It was amazing. And, well, as you said, the player that ended up winning, crowd went bananas. It was, I have no idea about the after party, but I have no doubt that they were in Adelaide all night partying on.
Did they have a dance party in the ring when they unhooked those titles? Was the dance party on?
Well, there was a dance party at one stage. Big Steen decided to interject himself into the match. So did James Cray, and so did Venus. And Big Steen decided to try and have a dance party with Venus, and she sort of started to come around and strut her stuff, and then kicked him clean in the you-know-wheres. So that was the end of that dance party. So
yeah, that'll end any dance party.
It really would and really did. But,
I'm very happy. As you know, I claimed that I would be there wearing my Pareja shirt, and I feel terrible that I didn't. And I was terrified. You know, like a Knicks fan that doesn't watch the game when they're away, and you know, and they blame themselves for the loss. If the Pareja didn't win the titles, I would blame myself for not being there, not rocking the Pareja shirt. But I'm really glad that they came out on top. I'm really glad that they got the straps. This is my favorite tag team in the country. So.
I will be very honest. They very much earned it, although so did every team in this match. It wasn't all these guys just it was an amazing match. There's just no other words for it. And honestly, these well, I should say these three. I can't say these two because it is a three-man team. Without a doubt, the fastest rising team in Australian wrestling, and I've seen in years. They very much did earn it. It was fantastic, and it was a fantastic end to a fantastic show. Even if I don't like them, even if they give me a headache, they definitely earned it, and kudos to them for it. But, you know, same for all the other teams. The Millennials have been fantastic champions, like them or not. They have been. I'm sure it's not the last time they will be. They will have tag team gold around their waist or around their shoulders. Gods and Monsters still, unfortunately, as you mentioned last time we spoke, still winless, but they are an incredibly intimidating team. So I'm hoping they continue on. It was, and of course the Rude Ones didn't get the chance to three-peat, which they could have done. It would have been the first 3-time tag team champions. But again, these tag team titles are so hotly contested, but now there is a new team with a new target on their back. So it's going to be very interesting to see where we go from here.
Yeah, and that's what it does.
It's just going to get better.
And that's what it does. It puts the target firmly on their back. And I mean, let's be honest. Like I said, big fans of the guys. But when push came to shove, those PCW titles, they didn't hold on to them for as long as they would have liked. So, could we see a similar situation in Riot City? Will the Pereira live up to the challenge and be the fighting, defending, amazing champions that we know they can be? It's going to be interesting to see how the reign goes.
Well, I definitely think they'll be fighting and definitely to be defending. But yeah, you're exactly right, and you got to understand as well. They won them in a very unusual match, not a traditional tag team match.
Yeah.
So now they're going to have to go against some of the best teams in the country, not just in RCW, because a lot of teams are banging on the door to try and get in to get a shot at these titles because they mean so much. So these guys are going to have to look. Big Steen's not going to be able to get involved in these matches. Well, this match really had no rules. So, getting to the traditional defense of the titles, it's a whole different ball game. And again, it's a lot harder to be a champion than it is to be a challenger. You've got it now, but now you've got to defend it, and there's going to be everybody coming for you. So you're very right. It's going to be very interesting to see where we go. But the action is hot and heavy in the tag team division, and I'm so happy that it's going to continue on because I love tag team wrestling, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm going to ask you to do it. You're not going to like it, and you're going to claim that I'm trying to get you beaten up. I'm trying to get you heat. But
yes. If
you had to pick a match of the night,
wow. Can I have a tie? For me personally, it was probably Brooksy Monero because I'm a traditionalist. I love traditional wrestling, and they really put on a wrestling clinic. For me personally, it would have been my favorite. The TLC was just mind-blowing, and I have so much respect for everybody in that match for what they were willing to put their bodies through to not just entertain the fans, but of course to try and capture those titles. So I would like to say it's a draw between those two. But if you really, really push me, I'd go with Brooksy Monero because, as I said, I'm a traditionalist. I love a good wrestling match, and these guys just had a phenomenal one. But, there wasn't a bad match there. I mean, there never is. But this show, I truly believe, lived up to all the hype of being, RCW 200. There was a lot of pressure on that being such a momentous show. And I think everybody stepped up. And I like to think all the fans went home, all the residents of Riot City went home with a big smiles on their face, and they really enjoyed themselves because I definitely enjoyed it just being there and being part of it. So
definitely. And so looking forward, we have RCW Live coming up. That's at the Academy. And
absolutely. September 15th, we are RCW Live. I believe it is 42. I think we're up to 42. RCW Live 42.
That sounds right to me.
RCW Academy.
Yeah.
And then October 13th will be the big Riot City Rumble back at the Latvian Hall. So it's going to be super, super huge. Riot City Rumble always is. Of course, the Rumble, you never know who's going to turn up in that because, well, quite literally, hell, I was even in it one year. So you never really know who's going to pop into it. But of course, on the line is going to be the number one contender spot. The winner gets the shot. Usually a battle for supremacy in December. So it's kind of it's a quick way to get a title opportunity, and pretty much because it's a Rumble, there is no really, it's really the luck of the draw. If you get a good number, then you've got a great chance of winning. So it can really change the face of the show, and it's always very exciting. And of course, on top of that, we've got the Riot City Wrestling title match with Brooksy and Chris Basso. So I mean that in itself, as you said, is going to be a super huge match. So there's two reasons to come just for that.
Definitely looking forward to it. And this time I will be there, and I will come up and say hi, and I'll be able to congratulate the Pereira while wearing their shirt. That's my plan.
If you don't, I have a particular set of skills. I will find you, and I will not come on your podcast ever again. No, seriously. I have no doubt you'll be there. But if you're not, well, hey, you'll miss out on a fantastic show because
I'm not going to miss out this time. It was, I'm honest with my listeners. I was having some mental health situations. And so I decided just to I surrounded myself with friends that day instead. Instead of going to a show with people that I didn't know, I went with people that I did know just for my own mental health. And I had a really good night. I'm upset that I didn't get to see the show, but
in all seriousness, though, your mental health is way more important than any wrestling show, regardless. So I think it's a good. You made a good choice because it's not something we joke about ever. So I'm not going to put jokes into that. Your mental health is super important, as is everybody. So kudos for you for making a decision for putting yourself first. So.
Yeah, no, but I will be at the next show. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Now, anyone who's listening who wants to check out Riot City, where can people find some stuff?
Well, where can people find some stuff? Well, the main place to find some stuff would be on YouTube. A lot of our shows go up. They are completely free of charge. So if you go to youtube.com Riot City Wrestling, or just go to YouTube search bar, type in Riot City Wrestling, you'll get to see a lot of the old shows that we have had. You get to see a lot of these guys that we're talking about, and hopefully down the track, for those that didn't manage to get to RCW 200, they also hopefully will be up on YouTube, and you'll get to see the fantastic action we've already spoken about. Also, you can check out, of course, RiotCityWrestling.com, their main website, or Facebook.com Riot City Wrestling, or they also Riot City Wrestling on Instagram. Or if you're on Twitter, check out RC Wrestling. At RC Wrestling is their Twitter account. So I think I covered all of that in that very long verbiage.
That's all of them. I'll drop all the links in the show notes so that you can have a click and go straight to it. Now, I've said it before and I say it again. Anyone who's a fan of Australian wrestling needs to be watching Riot City Wrestling. It is, because of its status on YouTube as completely free, there is no excuse for you to not be across Riot City Wrestling. You may be a couple of weeks behind, but there's no excuse. It's a fantastic product, and it's one that's the most accessible in Australia because of its status as free on YouTube. So definitely check it out. And where can people find you, Wolfdog?
Again, asleep, hopefully. But no, I am found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Big Bad Wolfdog, 2 G's in the dog. I am there. I'm usually asleep. So, there's probably no point even looking for me. Look up Riot City Wrestling, much more important, much more exciting. But for anybody that was listening to this, that was at the show or has ever supported Riot City Wrestling, on behalf of the company, I just very quickly again would like to say thank you very much for supporting us or supporting indie wrestling in Australia wherever you find it. Thanks for all of your support. We all appreciate it. And thanks for you, Greg, for supporting all of us as we go along and go forward.
No, absolutely. It's well worth the support. It's the best thing in the world. Wrestling isn't. I like to say wrestling isn't wrestling. Wrestling is love. So just throwing that out there. Now I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. You can find the show at the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. We are the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. That's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. We're taking over the world. Like, share, subscribe, leave a 5-star review if you feel so inclined, and thank you very much for listening.
Hold one! Arm drag!
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list!
Oh my God!
So, no speak English.
Dummy! Goodbye and good night. Hold two! Arm bar!
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it! Dummy! Hold three! The moss covered! 3-handle